Hello. We are making a video because we are both bored. That's why we are making a video. Yes, we don't know what else to do other than make a video, and it rhymes also. So anyway, I look like I'm drunk or something, but the reason for that is because I made myself real powerful herbal tea the other day, and the effect is still there after 2 days. And yesterday I had to eat 4 large leaves of Purus japonica in order to calm down my brain, because I thought this would never end, this hell that was happening in my brain. And so now I feel good. Now I feel so much better. I feel like it feels amazing. It feels like I've been through an enormous healing cataclysm. I don't know how to even describe it. Like the inwardness meditation. Paul, please don't let him do that. Don't let him do that. Baby dog, no. Get off there. No. Get off the window. No. He's damaging my artwork. He's already shifted the park. The park that belongs to the alien spaceship one. I'm going to call them E.T. spaceship one because Stephen Greer doesn't want us to call them aliens. So I respect that, and I call them ETs. Either way, whatever we say is that it's not a discrimination against someone to say alien. I'm an alien myself. I live in a place where I am an alien. I'm not in my native birthplace anymore. But I'm on my native earth. I'm on my native planet Earth. Okay, so that's where I'm on. This is all mine. It's my Mother Earth, okay? And she's yours too, in the same sense. Okay? So I can move out in that direction now, but I come back to the subject that I want to talk about. That's a heavy subject. It really is. It's not very bright outside, and I also have night light on in my screen, so that's why it looks kind of murky. Maybe that's not the case when other people watch the video. So, but anyway, yesterday afternoon, Paul and I, we were sitting here, just where we're sitting right now, and it was starting to get dark, and he was talking about my dad and my brother. And we were talking, and as Paul always does it, which is what always gets him into hot water, is whenever he talks to someone, and he means well all along, but it just feels so bad to the other person. So he starts out the conversation easygoing, and then he writes himself. He screw drives himself like Adolf Hitler further and further and further into a rant, and then into anger, and then into righteousness, and then into condemnation, and then all frontal war. Like, whoa, how did this escalate? It always escalates, and because he feels victimized. And that's what I want to address in this video. People feeling victimized. And because people feel so victimized all the way around the whole planet, I bet some apes too, like humans are apes, of course. Some other apes probably too, some other apes that feel very victimized, and they feel wronged, and now they have to go to war against the other ape group. And the chimpanzees, I heard, do this, okay? They even ambush other chimpanzees. I don't think they ambush humans, because they usually think of humans as gods. And that's a big mistake to do. Or mini gods. The humans are their mini gods. They're bigger than they're taller than the chimpanzees, but the chimpanzees are like 5 times as strong as the strongest Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. Okay, so that is a fact. Okay, and the females too, so they can maul you away. Very easily, like a werewolf. And they're kind of like, that's what they kind of look like, a little bit. They look like werewolves. I don't want, why even create a werewolf when we have chimpanzees, right? And not all chimpanzees are the same, just the same in the human species, okay? Not all humans are the same. None of us is the same as the other. Not one single snowflake or psychopath is the same as the other. Okay, so we're all different, vastly different in some cases. So vastly different that they're about to zip off into a different species. That's how vastly different some of us are. Different. I am very different to, I don't want to have to say it, but I'm very different. Let's just call the kid by the name. I'm very different to Philip Jones, okay? And I'm not talking about the politician. I'm talking about the guy who hijacked that politician's name in North Carolina. Okay, so I found all of that out later. So, and he's not, and the hater is not in North Carolina. The whole thing is a joke, right? He's trying to make himself look like he's one of these harmless North Carolinian people. And even the boss there, the governor, right? No, he is not. He is, I'm guessing now, he's from North Africa or Middle East, and he came over the border where they just opened the border, because they didn't know what else to do. And then he lives there in Corpus Christi, okay? And he does all day long criminal activity. He couldn't live in any other way. There's no other way other than to do criminal activity in the country that welcomed him with open arms, right? And gave him money, $2,200 per month, $1,000 or more for each child. So they wouldn't have any incentive not to have children, right? So, and there's already the huge incentive of, the reproductive urge that it doesn't need an additional financial incentive, right? And no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But yeah, I am as different to this Philip Jones imposter guy in Corpus Christi, Middle Eastern, Muslim man, as it possibly gets. It couldn't get any more vastly different. I think there is like a chasm or spasm or cataclysm in between us. I don't know the real world. So it's like it's an abyss that is as wide as two mountain ranges, like the Himalayan mountain range, as far away as that from Hawaiian whatever god volcano, Krakatoa or something. So that's as wide apart this entire vast range of land, okay, of DNA difference and brain differences. So I don't know how else to explain it. I really tried now. I really try to put this into words. But yeah, I feel you think I'm drunk, but I'm not. I promise to you, hand on my blue god, okay? No, I am so not drunk. This is my natural artistic self when I am not drunk and when I have gone through the Ego Dissolution Funnel. This is how I come out, the other end, every time, every single time. I could go in a chat room now and do some brain experiments there with people, and I could be dancing on top of their words, and I could be dancing with their incredibly hateful, abusive words, and I tangle with it, and that really makes them mad. If I didn't get mad at their words, she didn't get mad. Dang! Now we have to become more inventive. Let me smoke one. I don't even want to. I don't even want to say it, right? I mean, that's what they're thinking. Like, oh, she didn't get mad at that? No. Okay, now he has to go. He'll say, hang on, I'll be right back. And he has to go, and he has to order himself LSD, from the black market. And then he'll come back. And he will come back with a vengeance, baby. He will be with such a vengeance to get even with someone who had been through the Ego Dissolution Funnel. My gosh. You could have that too, for free. It wouldn't cost you a penny to go through the Ego Dissolution Funnel. No. You can be a miser. You could be a tightwad and go through the Ego Dissolution Funnel. And you have a blast of a lifetime. I promise you a rose garden, says Hermes Trismegistus. Okay. And that's not me. I'm not Hermes Trismegistus. Trismegistus, 3 times great teacher. I believe that is what it's meant to be. Or some people say 3 times great. He is 3 times great, and I will add teacher, because magister also means teacher, that's a Latin. But tris megistos, I believe, I don't know whether that's Latin or Old Greek, or whether the two languages were still together at that time. But I am sure it means 3 times or 3 times praised. Great teacher. And that's what he was. And that was one of his incarnations, the blue god. Okay. So that's the message of the blue god. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a regular person. And I don't have money anymore because I didn't give anything away. I stopped taking money from my parents because I wanted my parents to use the money for nurses and maids and so on. It wasn't very much that they were giving me, but please use it for nurses and for your retirement. Okay, that's what, for you, use it for you, my parents. Okay, my mother died, and it's very horrific and tragic. She died in April, and I believe that my brother poisoned her to death. So I'm just gonna pack it all out now, because I didn't want to pack it out in the beginning for a while, because I didn't want my brother then to go ahead and take my videos and show them to my dad, and then, or maybe even censor out parts and patch things together out of context, which I believe he would do, in order to turn my dad against me. So, and then he'll probably tell my dad, Nikki's done with us. She's completely finished. So she doesn't need any inheritance money. Okay. So, and I believe he's done this now for many, many years, and still had the nerve to come to me and talk to me on video chat all these years after he has viciously, maliciously turned people against me, taken things out of context, and told just told complete lies to my parents, my aunts, my cousin even. Totally lied about me. So I'm just gonna pack it all out. I don't even know where to start. It is so difficult. I have so many thoughts at once. I don't even know. I have no idea where to start. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit how easy really it is to go through the ego dissolution funnel, but it does not feel easy to the ego. And I want to get into it because I'm not gonna, from the higher perspective, I'm not gonna judge Philip Jones, the imposter, or my brother, or anyone, okay? And when I'm through that ego dissolution funnel, I can see things from the higher perspective. Before I get into the ego dissolution funnel, I can only see things from my earth perspective, from me being victimized. Okay, so I have been on both sides of the spectrum. Literally, I have been many, 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 many times on both sides of the ego dissolution funnel. Okay, I've been at the beginning of the ego dissolution funnel. I've also ventured further away from the beginning of that funnel. Okay, I've done it all of that too. I've ventured away from it. That feels uncomfortable. No, I'd rather go the other direction, right? Wait a minute. that is the direction where the bus is coming towards me. Wait a minute, that's the direction where the abyss is lurking, the Grand Canyon. I'm going away from the Ego Dissolution Funnel, and I'm going straight towards the edge of the Grand Canyon. And I've been there, literally, in person, have been there with Paul and my 2 former Great Danes. Okay, we were living in LA at that time. That was our honeymoon trip, all the way to the fringes of Earth, all the way to the very edge of the Grand Canyon. And I stood there and I looked down and I thought, oh no, I think there was even a bench. That bench was made for crazy people on LSD, for people like Zane on bath salts, and for suicidal people. Okay? To take a stop, one last stop, sit on that bench and think it over. Well, I never sat on that bench because I have OCD with park benches, because people with cigarette particles sat there, so I can't sit on them. But I stepped dangerously close to that edge, and I looked down. But not just physically, I went to that verge, to that edge. I've also ventured away from the Ego Dissolution Funnel and towards that edge of the cliff, the metaphorical one. I've done that too. And on that honeymoon trip, I wasn't doing that. I was only physically on the edge of the Grand Canyon because we were feeling good. Okay, so because it was our honeymoon, so we were feeling good. And I thought, oh yeah, I found the man, this is the man of my life. He has 2 Great Danes, and that's why he's the man of my life. I ignored all the other things. But no, we're still together. We're best friends. We really are. But we're not lovers. Okay, so, but you don't have to be lovers to be best friends with someone. Okay, so that part of the equation I miss, not with him, but with my dream man, who I never met, but doesn't matter, that's the least of my concern. I mean, that's like 1% of my life, or of my thought processes. When I go in the chat room, I know that the other people, it's 100% of their thought processes. I can clearly see it. But for me, it's just like 1%, and sometimes not even that. Sometimes I'm just 100% angry and nothing else. But my whole life is like, the pleasure, the cherry on the icing, the sexual reproduction part with the rubber reproduction facilitator, which doesn't reproduce. So, and I'm so glad. Okay, you don't need birth control. So, but anyway, that's just like 1% of my life. I'm serious about this. I am serious. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not condemning it. It's good, I don't find anything wrong with it. And some people say, that takes up their whole life. And so it takes up their whole life. And I want to get into the depths in this video. I hope I don't rant too much past all of these subjects. Because I'm telling you, I have like the thoughts that go off every subject are like, it's like a sun of thoughts. That's what it is. Every thought, it's like fractal geometry in my brain. Every thought fractals off into another sun of thoughts, and another sun of thoughts, another sun of thoughts, and then it gives birth to another sun of thoughts, and that has another sunbeam, which then gives birth to yet another son of thoughts. And that's how my brain works. My brain is like, it's like flowing, and it's like it's lava flowing over and geyser flowing over with thoughts and epiphanies and recognition. It really is. And it's not because I'm enlightened, because I'm not enlightened, okay? It's because I've been through the Ego Dissolution Funnel. Yeah. Ego Dissolution Funnel, baby. It works, okay? It works, and it doesn't cost anything, okay? So here's how I got into the Ego Dissolution Funnel last night, talking to Paul. And Paul did his Adolf Hitler escalation again, and I mean, it's a pain in the neck, and it's a bitch, okay? But it's you can also call it a catalyzer converter, or you can also call it I don't know how the spiritual type of people call it. You know, like something that initiates dramatic movement in your energy field. Okay, let's put it that way. So, but yeah, it's also it's a case for Dr. Oliver Sacks. But anyway, I'm talking to him, and he talks to me, and first like, yeah, it's terrible what your brother is doing, and then it doesn't take very long until here it comes. It starts going into the Adolf Hitler direction. But you are not much better. It's like, okay, here you are, have compassion for my situation. But it doesn't take very long until the catalyzer converter shows itself and says, but you are not that much better. You and your brother, you are the same. You are the same personalities. You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and you and your brother, they haven't fallen far from the tree of your parents, from your parents' lineage. You are just like your grandfather. You've inherited the worst of the worst, absolute obnoxious from your grandfather. And then he goes on, and then it escalates, okay? And I sit here, okay, here we go again on the road, okay? I'm sitting here, and nobody again is on my side. And then I double down on my self-pity. Don't believe for a second that I'm gonna be okay with that and say, you are right. I am just as bad as my brother. A lost cause, right? A Hunter frickin' Biden. I didn't fall far from the Joe Biden family lineage. No. God. No, luckily I'm not related to them. And I hope I'm not even distantly related to them. But no, I'm just explaining how Paul communicates, okay? So, yeah, and I feel, and how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like I have no human to be on my side, okay? And that's an old story. That's a red thread that goes throughout my entire life. I've always been the clown, the jester. I call it the Kaugummi clown, the chewing gum clown. Okay, I have been made into the po-pants. Okay, I wonder if that word is also related to pomander, because believe it even the Pomander and the or Pymander or Hermes Trismegistus, or any jester or any trucer in the whole world, that could be Hermes, the blue god, okay. There could be any trucer or any, it could be Friedrich Nietzsche, okay. No, baby dog, no, 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 oh, baby, oh no, baby, why? He is mad at me because I am not paying attention to him. I'm not playing with him. I am sitting here talking to this computer, and that's why one of our former dogs, an albino Great Dane, I had my former Chromebook on a Tupper container, and I saw him go over there, and he slammed his big paw, enormous, bigger hand than my hand, enormous paw with big, huge platform shoe foot pads underneath, slammed, and long fingernails this long like a werewolf. Slammed down on the computer and scraped it down full force onto the floor. The computer opened up partly, and then it flew onto the floor, even though the floor is padded. That caused damage to the screen. That the screen started flickering after that. And all because I was on the computer way too much. And that was too much for the blue god. That was one of his incarnations. Kenny Redwood, the blue god. Albino Great Dane with light blue eyes. Yes, he did not like that either. And the baby dog doesn't like it either, that I'm on the computer. The Papa dog, European Basset Hound, our last dog before the baby dog, he did not mind. He was completely retirement dog, peaceful. He was okay with me being on the computer all day long, because his last incarnation was David Foster Wallace. And he was also on the computer all day long because he was a writer, so he understood. But the other two, no, they were not okay. They think this is just wrong to be on the computer all day long. But here at this house, I'm not on the computer all day long. That's what's happening at the other house, because at the other house we have internet. We don't have internet here, and Paul was almost going to get internet here, and I think this would be a bad idea, because then we're not going to get the house ready. So we have to get the house ready. But I'm on the computer right now because I'm making a video, and I'm not on the internet, and I turned the antenna off because I don't want the radiation. So yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. And there is another thought process of another thought process of another thought process, and another what they call digression, and another digression, and another digression, and another transgression away from the main subject. So, but yeah, that's why I feel high today, because I went through this Ego Dissolution Funnel last night, and it was not fun. I mean, that's why people run away. That's why, from the higher perspective, I don't judge anyone for running away, because obviously nobody wants to feel it. But the problem is, by running away, you run into the abyss. You run in front of the bus or the Grand Canyon. Okay, that's what you're doing. That's what my brother is doing. That's what Hunter Biden is doing. That's what Philip Jones, imposter, hater guy, is doing. Whatever his name is. Okay, and that's what all of my haters, all the real mean ones, I don't know who these people are, could just be one person. But that's what the mean hater or haters are doing. They are running away from the ego dissolution funnel where they should be. Okay? And they're running towards the Grand Canyon abyss. Okay? And if they keep on running, they're going to fall. It's going to happen eventually. And even the process of running towards that abyss is not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun how my brother lives his life. It's not fun how he, deep down, he knows he's totally scheistering and bullshitting himself. Okay. I mean, he's a shyster to his own body. That's what he is. He is a liar to his own body and brain. That's what he is. And running fast towards the bitter end. Very fast. Okay. And for that, he needs the entire inheritance, And that will last him, let me guess, 2 years, maximally 3, okay? Until, as Udo Lindenberg, the German singer, immer lustig und vergnügt, bis der Arsch im Sarge liegt, baby. Okay. It's a song, and that meant always hunky-dory until your ass is in the casket. Okay. And that's what my brother is doing. Full-fledged Hunter Biden style. Okay. And they look a lot alike. They really do. I mean, that means I'm distantly related to that parasitic entity, Hunter Biden. And my brother he has made himself into a parasitic entity. He has. Okay. Absolutely. And maybe my hater is my brother. I wouldn't even be surprised if he is. I would not even be surprised if my absolute wildest hater in the world is actually my brother. To get even with me. I don't know for what. For what? For being jealous at him when I was a child. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. And I'm infinitely sorry that I was jealous and that I was the mean older sister who pushed him over and all of that. I'm infinitely sorry for that. Okay. But you're not gonna get even by making me suicidal. Okay, you don't. But I don't know if it's my brother. But could be someone just like him who feels the need to get even with someone who is, oh, what is going on? Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. So he ran through the garden, and he needed to run through the garden. Yeah, he needed to run full force now through the garden 10 times over. Oh my goodness! And that's when he coughs like that. After he runs. Yes. Yeah, that is. Oh man, that's tough exercise. Is that? Yeah. I do the same when I run, but I can't run because that's a jiggle contest run. That's why I could never run. I had to be exempted from that. Yes. Yes, you are so entzückend. You are so entzückend that words cannot even describe how entzückend you are. Entzückend means lovely. Entzückend means, how does it translate? That's German word. Entzückend. Entzückend. The haters, they always think I say chicken. My chicken. No, he is not a chicken. He is entzückend, but he's not a chicken. No, he is definitely not a chicken. He is very brave. Yes, very brave. Yes, he has something to say to all of you. Yes, he does. And the message is, hello, I am Nikki's chicken. And I love all living beings. Yes, but I shred cats. Yeah, that I do. And because of that, I got some scars on me. Because I like shredding cats. And that is very terrible. Is that? Yeah, that is terrible. It is very terrible. It's terrible. He doesn't know better. Yes, he doesn't. He doesn't know better. He doesn't know better. He doesn't know better. And the message is clear that I have for you all. My name is Casey Kasem. I used to be a radio host in LA. But I had a bad wife. And she did me in. And I even ended up on 48-hour crime report. Yes, as the victim. Yes, and she even said, to the dogs. And off I went. Couple of days later, a week later, I went to the dogs. Yes. I went to the dog heaven, which is, of course, not a different heaven than any other person's heaven. And then I went to the dogs by coming into this existence a couple of years later. That's what I did. I went into the zygote of Casey Kasem dog. That is what I did. When I ventured from the Orion Nebula in one big, tremendous whoosh. My soul went into the zygote of Casey Kasem dog. Inside of the mama's womb. Yes. That's what I did. Yes. That is what I did. That's what I did. And then about 3 months later, I was born. Yes. Into this existence. And then I was living with mean Mexicans, and they were not nice. Only thing they gave me to eat were whatever from the rest of the enchilada that they didn't want anymore. Yes, and I had to eat all Mexican rest food, and then they made fun of me, and they threw me a cat. Here and there they threw me a cat, and that's all I had to eat, a live cat. My goodness, that's what they did. And then they're sadistic, and they enjoyed watching me eating and shredding live cats, and that's what they did. And that went on for a while until they wanted me to fight with other dogs, and I said, no way, I'm not gonna do it. I'm a God lover. Don't do your thing, but leave me out of it. So they abandoned me somewhere, and then Good Samaritan came, and she couldn't keep me, but she brought me to the animal shelter. And then an angel soul lady came and picked me up together with some other dogs, and then she brought us north, and that's when Paul and Nicola came into my life. Yeah, they saw me there at the animal shelter. And I begged them with the big pumpkin head. I put my big pumpkin head onto Nicola's lap, and I leaned that pumpkin head forward like this. Yes, and put that pumpkin head onto Nicola's lap, and I said to her energetically and with telepathic words, please, will you be my new mother? And Nicola could not say no. There was no way in the world she could ever say no to me. So she had to take me with her. She had to take me home right then and there. Yes, and that's when my life became better. Much better now. Yes, much better. Oh, yes. Much better. And I recommend to everyone out there, do the same as Nicola did. Nicola and Paul, do the same, okay? Go to an animal shelter or to a foster mother or foster father and take one home. Take a baby home, okay? Take one of us home. Yes, because we deserve a loving home. That is what we deserve. Yes, we deserve that. We deserve love. Every living being deserves love. Yes. Yeah, and believe it or not, I even like all of those. I like everyone. The shabbier someone looks, the better I like him. Yes. The guys with the tattoos, I go right up to them. Yes, because I'm used to those from before Nicola and Paul and the Good Samaritans and the angels, before they brought me to safety. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, so I'm used to all of those. And I don't hate them. They don't know better. So I love them all. I identify as a Mexican myself. You can see that. Okay, so I even look a little bit like them. I have wide apart eyes, and that's very beautiful. A little bit Native American. That's very beautiful. But some of them, they don't know better, but they're not very nice. No, they're not very peaceful. They're not very friendly. So, and that's not good. The friendly ones, those are the angels' house. The angels' house. They come and they get all of the dogs like me. They come and they get us out of our predicament. Yes, they get us out of there, out of the hellholes, and they save our lives. Yes, that is what they do. Yes, the good Samaritans, the real kind-hearted ones. They care. So, yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. How do I? The light is kind of dark, but I'm gonna keep the computer like this here. So yes, it's a good dog. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good dog. Look at that beautiful forehead. There's a lot of thought going through that forehead, that big, squishy forehead. That is a big, squishy pumpkin forehead. That is a beautiful forehead. Is that? And that's why I call him my pumpkin boat. Yes, he is my pumpkin boat. That a beautiful pumpkin boat. Is that? Yes, the beautiful pumpkin boat. So, and that's why we feel good today, because we have nothing else to do today but sit on the couch and cuddle, and it's okay, But last night was very difficult, and I cried so much, and the Kisa, he was so worried, and he came over and he put his paws on my lap, and he leaned his pumpkin boat head onto the side of my body in order to give me comfort. Yes, and that's why I also call him my nurse. Yes, he is our nurse. And Paul calls him my nursemaid. Yes, he is Paul's nursemaid, because he licks the mites of Paul's arms. And he gives me comfort every time I cry and have a nervous breakdown. Yes, that's what he does. He is my therapist and he is my psychiatrist. That's what he does. He is a volunteer psychiatrist. Yes, a beautiful living being is What, he is the Casey Casey? Yes, he's feeling good now. Yes, he is feeling good. So, last night, Paul got into the Hitler rant, and I said to him, don't keep going, don't go any further, because the nervous breakdown is rolling up. And then it doesn't take much longer. Once I recognize it already, I'm already like by a hair close to it. And that's usually when it's too late already, when I skip over from dodging and humor into seriousness and into anger and into standing up for myself. So, and that's what I have to do, you know. I have to get very serious sometimes. And then he said, okay, I won't talk about it any further. And then I could see it was spinning full force in his brain, in Paul's brain. And I was just sitting here and not saying anything. And I thought, if he goes any further, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. And I don't want to do this because I don't like that drama with the confrontations and the accusations in front of the dog. Okay? I don't like that. I don't want to bother my baby dog with pause and my conflict and confrontations and anger and accusations and all of that. You know, I don't like to do this. I'd rather have a therapy room for this, or like a group session room, like we had in primal therapy, where you can get up and stand in line of a bunch of people who would like to speak out, you know, in front of the group. And then so everyone goes through their thing, and they go into a primal room, or they sit down with the therapist and they cry, or they go against the wall, and once they are slumped down and finished with their stuff, then the next one steps up and talks about their stuff. And that's what we need. That's the solution to everything. We need groups therapy. And this needs to be arranged. And for now, it needs to be arranged in open facilities that people can go to, not closed centers. So I initially had 4 different therapy help centers, but I condensed them now into 2 therapy help centers, 1 closed, and that will just hold all the other ones that are not easy to deal with. It will hold all the other ones that require a staff and nurses and therapists and so on, and people in prison guards and so on. So, but the other one is the open center, and that can be arranged. Donald Trump offered this to Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom rejected it. He was in resistance towards it. And this is really criminal of Governor Newsom to be in resistance to this absolute rock solid help that Donald Trump offered to California. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to get all the homeless people off the streets, you know. And of course you have to. They're not gonna volunteer. They have to be rounded up, you know. And Governor Newsom said, no, that's unethical. You can't round these people up. But wait a minute, it's way more unethical to leave these homeless people out there in the gutter to be a danger to themselves and others. Okay, that's much, much more unethical to just leave these people roaming around and throwing bricks on people's heads and stealing and robbing and taking drugs and even selling drugs and you name it, okay, and raping women and killing people. All of this is happening. I met one woman at the cemetery. She came up to us. We had our Great Dane, Kenny, there with us, and she asked us if she could pet our dog, and I felt so sorry for her, a homeless lady. And she said the other homeless people have murdered her dog. And she was heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. And I could see that she was completely lost and helpless and in despair, and also probably drinking alcohol here and there, and probably taking drugs, and having nothing, nobody to lean on. What a horror. Okay, having to sleep there near the cemetery. What a horror. And that's a good person, that lady. A good, kind person. The way she talked about what they did to her dog, and it's just it's absolutely heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. And Donald Trump offered help, real help for people like her, and Governor Newsom rejected it. Governor Newsom wants to leave her in the gutter. He wants to leave her. He wants to leave her to her own mercy. He wants to leave her in danger of other homeless people and so on. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's a horror. So what happened last night was I finally stood up for myself. I had to. I finally cried. At first I cried real pitifully. And then I said, I told you I was going to have a nervous breakdown if he continued. And of course he continued. He wouldn't be silent for a long time. I could see it in his face. He was already mumbling, and it wouldn't take very long until he just can't help it, and then he has to continue with it, with my brother, and then it doesn't stay there with my brother. It continues to go on over onto me, and how I'm like my brother, and how we are irresponsible, and we have everything given to us, and we don't appreciate money, and so on. And he'll just keep it up with that same attitude towards me, when I have for 20 years been working on myself. For 20 years I have gradually been healing myself, become better. I've gone through unimaginable stretches of healing. I literally was 5150. When he met me, I was Meshuggah. I was still in primotherapy. I was banging. And my haters are gonna laugh, but I can't worry about this. I was banging my head on brick walls and in cement. Whenever things got really bad in my head, I would slam my head against the floor. It's Asperger's, and it's a form of complete despair. Like, you don't know where to go with this terror, with this horror that's in my head. You don't know where to go with it. And I don't want to go against other people with it. I don't want to be an Adam Lanza or someone like that. Okay. So when there's no space to go to, no one to help, the people in the center were failing. I can't say it in any other words. Okay, my therapists were failing. Not just with my therapy, not just in regards to how they were interacting with me, but in regards to how they were interacting with other clients as well. And the reason why is because Dr. Arthur Jonoff had retired. And he was no longer monitoring the staff, the therapists. Okay, so when he was there, he had eagle eyes. He would immediately see when a therapist was not acting well, when they were in their own mental illness, okay, caught up and then intertwined with their clients, and this is a big fat chaotic mess. And because of that, 2 people died. Okay. So because Arjanov retired, and he thought he could retire and leave it to his wife to manage, but she wasn't paying attention, and she was permanently in her own pain. Permanently. Okay. So I could clearly see that. And it's not a judgment against her, but it is, I see the tragedy of this unfolding. Okay. And that's why, with Paul's help, eventually I recognized that I had to quit. I had to sign out. I couldn't do it any longer. So, and then Paul got me Tony Robbins books, Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins. That book was vitally important for me because I saw that the way primal therapy was run in the end was very lopsided, particularly in the end without Arjanov. It was completely lopsided. It had completely fallen over to one side, and that wasn't working. So I had to get help from another approach, which is Tony Robbins' approach, which is the approach of you need to get your life in order. You need to get at least your room and your outside circumstances in order, okay? You need to get things in order where you need to break it off with people that are unbeneficial, okay? And you need to clean out your life. And then the mind is going to follow there, okay? And he has a lot of exercises for the mind. And it's very good. He comes from the NLP approach, and that's also extremely lopsided. Tony Robbins took the lopsidedness out of NLP and made it better. But still, it was still a little bit too lopsided. We need both approaches. We need the inwardness. We need what I call now the inwardness meditation, which is coming from the thought school of primal therapy. But I have taken the lopsidedness out of primal therapy. So, and I also combine it with the Tony Robbins approach. Of course, we have to combine it with all these approaches, otherwise it's not going to work. So I am a living example of someone who literally pulled themselves out of the bog. Almost like, I can't say it was on my own bootstraps, because that's impossible. You can't. You cannot pull yourself out of a bog on your own bootstraps, in a literal sense, and not in a metaphorical, psychological sense either. Okay, you have to have people to help you, and Paul helped me. Paul saved my life. Okay, he really did. I don't know what I would do if Paul had not come into my life. I don't know what I would have done. I can't even think. I can't think through. Maybe I would have gone to Hare Krishna at some point, or I would have gone to the Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, the Nichiren Daishonin, which I have attended for a while too. But all of these things are lopsided, of course. I've gone to the Paramahansa Yogananda Center. I've explored it all of these different gurus I looked into. And then Annalise told me about Jiddu Krishnamurti. She wanted me to buy his book. And I ordered the book, but then I didn't want to spend the money because I read some parts of the book and I thought, I already know all of that, what he's saying. But that was that was stupid of me, So, and I had to be easy with my budget, of course. The book was expensive, but Kenny Pollack should have bought me that book for my birthday. But he got me some kind of voucher, and I should have bought the book then with that voucher, so. But anyway, my thoughts, they keep on thought sunning off over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So many thoughts. But when Paul kept on talking last night, I started to realize that he's right, of course, but it's also important how we bring a message across, that it's important that we don't fall into someone's house with the entire door out of their alignment, right? Like unhinged, literally. Fall into the house unhinged with the door together. No, we don't want to do that. He can knock on the door friendly and say, are you there? Are you willing to hear my message? Okay, I don't do that in the chat room, but that's a different situation altogether. I mean, it's not like we're not sitting here together. If I sat together with my haters in person, if I visited them in prison, okay, I wouldn't be yelling at them, or I wouldn't be unhinged in that moment. If they're absolutely mean to me, I'd just walk away, right? But if they're listening to me, then I will say, are you ready for the message? Okay. I'm just a messenger, I'm not a guru, I'm not a god. Are you ready for the message? And I bring you the message. Okay. This is how it is. This is how I firsthand experienced it. This is how I know it is. This is how I feel it is. This is how other people have experienced it. This is what I have observed, okay, in person, in primatherapy, in many, many, many places. This is what I observe on the internet. It's a vital part of information. Vital part. I would say 2/3 of my entire understanding and information comes from the internet now. Okay. Also, the interaction with other people on the internet. Very important. But last night I completely went into a nervous breakdown. I cried and cried and cried and cried and howled. And the baby dog wanted to help me, wanted to comfort me. And wherever I sat here, he would put his foot on my lap. I went into my bedroom to cry, didn't want to bother him with it. He would jump right on my bed, put his foot on my lap again. So he's Casey Kasem. He's the God level soul. And before he came into my life, I remember I was standing in my bathroom praying to the blue God, saying, Blue God, send me a God level soul. I need a God level soul. I was thinking that one of the neighbor guys that I have a crush on is that God level soul. But it's wishful thinking. That's my reproductive needs coming in, okay, messing my thoughts up, okay. So we got to know him later, and I see that guy is not a God level soul at all, okay, not at all. No, he's a shyster, he's selfish, he's a hunter, and he even comes from a dairy farm family, okay. So, and he thinks it's okay. And he got mad at us. He got mad at Paul for saying that I'm a vegan. He got mad at Paul for that. I mean, right there. That's not a God level soul, okay? So that was just my physical attraction. So, and then the blue God brought me a God level soul. But not in a man, not a human man, a dog man, okay? And that is him. My beautiful, beautiful, lovely Casey Kasem. That is him. God level. And this is a real special present from the blue God. And I'm infinitely grateful to him for this God level soul coming into my life and rescuing me. And we are rescuing him. So we rescue each other. And that's how you get pulled out of the bog. You can only get pulled out of the bog by someone coming and helping you, and by you being willing to let that other person pull you out of the bog. My dad is to here in the bog now, and in danger of being murdered. Up to here in the bog. So I don't know. I haven't heard from him anymore. Okay. The letter was the ocean rock that I sent him. Paul got mad at me because that package cost over $42. This padded envelope. The prices of the post office, they're becoming insane now. And that padded envelope got into the wrong hands. My brother and his gold digger girlfriend caught that envelope before it got to my dad. My dad probably never got to see that envelope with the rock and my beautiful letter, my heartfelt letter for him. He never got it. And then my brother became very abusive to me, really abusive, like the haters, like really abusive. And I had to hang up the conversation on Facebook, and I never talked to him again since then. So because I see what he's doing. Okay. I gave him another chance and another chance and another chance and another chance, but I'm talking about my brother, not you. So the ego is always like, okay, so yeah, I'm talking negatively about him too, but I have to say what it is. I'm not gonna slander him, okay? I'm not gonna slander my brother. I'm just gonna say this is how it is, okay? This is what's going on. Probably gonna make another video about this because it's already way over an hour. This is what it is. But just want to wrap it up now about the ego dissolution funnel. So crying and sobbing it out is ego dissolution funnel. Acting it out is not ego dissolution funnel. So, but then I went back out of the ego dissolution funnel, right in front of the ego. I was going in and out of the ego dissolution funnel. The crying is ego dissolution funnel, but only in the howling. Howling in anger is at the top of the ego dissolution funnel. That's not all the way in. That's like I'm still in anger, right? As long as I'm still in anger, I'm not all the way into the ego dissolution funnel. The way you go all the way into the ego dissolution funnel is if you stop all anger and all resistance. If you sob with the self-pity. And self-pity is taboo in society. But think again why that is. Because 99.99999% of society is in resistance, not willing to go into the ego dissolution funnel. That's why. So they look down on people. They even drill their children. They brainwash their children in their wrong direction, that in the direction towards the abyss, towards the bus coming towards them. Okay, that's how they drill their children. The way you want to educate your child is by allowing the child to be silly, to be a jester, to be a clown, to be making artwork out of packaging materials, to be themselves, to cry, to feel self-pity when they feel it. Allow them. Don't interfere. Hold their hand. I'm here for you. Feel it all the way through. And that's how you prevent your child from becoming a Hunter Biden. or my brother. Okay. But most people don't do it, So the children end up thinking they have to be badass, or they have to be mean, they have to be mafia, they have to be tough, or my brother's society, they have to be wearing expensive clothes, and they have to be macho. My brother is also macho, I see clearly. And they have to be woke, and they have to be, all of this is part of that. The woke thing has been infused into both society, into the gang society, and into my brother's, how do I call it, into the snob society, so into both. The snob society thinks they're being intellectual by being woke. Big fat misunderstanding. Okay, the gang society, they're in the woke because they're benefiting from that, from the snobs being woke. Okay. They're benefiting financially, and they get less prison time from all of that. So they just laugh about it, and ha ha ha. The Germans, like that one Muslim guy, taxi driver, said that Germans, they give me their retirement fund, and I don't need to work. I don't have to. He was just laughing it all off. He was laughing about the Germans, really. So, but it's not funny at all. Whole Germany is woke. Woke AF, I don't want to say the word. So woke AF, baby. That's Germany for you. Okay. And now they have Sharia law inside of Germany. They have a government within the government, and it won't stay very long until that government within the government becomes the government. So, yeah. I give it a few more years. The years that my brother is using every penny for my father, and I don't know what's happening to my father, and that's why I'm worried for him. I tried it all. You just name it, I tried it. Okay. For years, I tried to get help. I called social workers. I even contacted the Kriminalpolizei, the crime investigation unit, and I can't say where it is, but it's in Germany, and I tried to get help. So, and my lawyer isn't contacting me back. Okay, my lawyer, I was putting my hopes in it. I was hoping that my lawyer could create order there, which would also save my father. And I asked the lawyer in my last letter to him if I give him this offer, which I offered him something for it, that is there, that has asset value. If he gets power of attorney, he can get a hold of it. He can get it. And then help my father. Help, because I'm giving that to him, a percentage of that. To send me the rest, because I need it. We need money. We need every dollar we can get, every euro we can get for our life, for our retirement, okay? To make it easier for us. So, but I'm not even counting on any money coming from them. So the situation is too convoluted already. I should have done all of that work with the lawyer 10 years ago, or me even before. But I was naive. I didn't think that. I didn't think it would escalate. I had thoughts about it. I had terrible thoughts that came into my head. I had thoughts of my brother being a murderer and all of that. But I brushed it off. I said, no, that's my paranoia. I didn't listen to my inner voice. I went with the social stigma and the social normation and all of this. And that's very dangerous to do, okay? Because you might overlook your inner voice that knocks on the door very hard and says, look at it, there's danger. Okay, my brother is lost mentally. Okay. And there's so much to talk about. I couldn't cover this in 10 hours of video. There's so much in detail also that goes into it. And because I want to be in harmony mode with my brother, later on I gave him another chance and another chance and another chance. But the last time I talked to him, he blew the last chance. He really blew it all off by being vicious and sarcastic, disrespectful, and blatant in my face, saying, what do you even need that money for? With a smirk, with a smug asshole smirk on his face. I mean, hello, Hunter Biden. Okay. So I don't put anything past my brother at this point. Okay? Nothing. I don't put anything. I don't put murder past him. I don't put pedophilia past him. Absolutely nothing. I don't put any kind of crime and any kind of fraud past him. I believe he is doing it. Okay, so, and as I was going through these thoughts, I was in and out of the Ego Dissolution Funnel, Of course, we can't be constantly in the ego. This is just therapy, right? It's a therapy process, obviously. So we come back out of the Ego Dissolution Funnel, and then we might go back into some kind of mental state where we need to go back into the ego. It's a successive, gradual healing process. But each time we go into the Ego Dissolution Funnel, we come out the other end and we have insights and we have mental clarity. Okay, and we feel good. Okay, and it's natural brain chemistry. It's not induced. It's not induced by anything, by whatever, porn or horror movies or artificial wars or drugs or whatever. So this is natural. This is who you are. This is your body. Your body is a powerhouse of endorphin production and all kinds of equilibrium hormones and neurotransmitters that your own body produces in harmony with your own healing process. Okay, your tears produce endorphins. All of this, it's a holistic process. And that's the only way. That's the only way we can do it. Okay? The only way. So I cried, I howled, but it was still in a state of anger. Then I went into the kitchen and bad thoughts came into my head. Bad thoughts. What I felt like doing to my brother and his gold digger and her husband. Felt, only thoughts, right? Thoughts. I'm not going to get into the details of it. I can't, okay? But these thoughts, I thought I was going to explode. I had to, and I know better. I still have a prefrontal cortex, right? So my prefrontal cortex is a stop sign. Says, no, you can't. You can't go in that direction. You can't. And the blue god voice said, you can't, it's not an option. Violence is not an option. Okay. I know that's how you feel, but it's not an option. So, finally told Paul while he was cooking, I told Paul what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And he understands, of course. because he had some thoughts of that on his own as well. But I know it's not an option. Okay, it's like, it's just, it's the dead end street, right? It's prison street. That's all that will come out of that. And you know how other people are. They're not even gonna appreciate you standing up for them and so on. Particularly not people like my dad who are in denial. Okay. My dad wants to believe my brother is top notch and in charge, top and on top of everything, right? That's what my dad wants to believe. Yes, you are beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're a beautiful dog. Oh yeah. Yes, you're a beautiful dog. It's a beautiful dog. Yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful dog. Yes, a beautiful, beautiful God. So, yeah, pause the microwave on. I don't like to sit in front of the microwave like this. I mean, the microwave's right behind me. And so then I have fear that there's radiation coming out. Maybe it's just paranoia. But I always have to lean over because I don't want the radiation from the microwave coming through. But maybe I'm just mistaken. Maybe there is no radiation coming out. I don't know. But I'd rather be safe than expose myself to radiation. So anyway, this is a very chaotic video, but it's my therapy video, and it's also a message to other people who are maybe going through something similar, okay, with their family. And maybe someone sees my video and my video will stop them from retaliating against the psychopaths in their family, right? I mean, I don't blame you for wanting to go at their throat. I don't blame you at all. I feel it, but the blue god says it's not an option. And my prefrontal cortex knows that too. You know? It's prison dead end street. Okay. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Don't go at them. Don't. It doesn't. Retaliating for whatever, it's not going to fix the situation. First-hand self-defense, that can save you and your loved ones. But only first-hand immediate self-defense. Okay. When someone is physically attacking your loved ones or you, then you have the right to step in. You also have the right to hammer a car window in, at least in some states of the United States. I don't know about Australia. It's getting cold here now. So, but during summertime, wherever you are, when it's blasting heat, and a dog is in a car. You see a dog in a car and the windows are all up. And the dog is panting real fast. Okay? They can go into a heat stroke shock. Okay? And this is life-threatening emergency. Okay? You have the right to hammer the car window in and open the door and let the dog out. And give the dog water and save the dog's life. You have the right to do that in some states of the United States. So I'm not sure exactly where, but I think in Arizona, California, Nevada, and Oregon, you are allowed to do this. I believe you are, but you know what? I would do it I'm not even gonna look first into some kind of book to see which state allows it, and then, this state doesn't allow it, so I'm just going to walk away from that poor dog. No. I'm going to hammer the window in if I see that situation, and I'm going to let the dog out, and I'm going to give the dog water. And if that happened to be in a state where that's illegal, put me in handcuffs and put me in prison, okay? the dog's more important than I am. Okay, and that's my message to the world. Okay, so I have to make another video on this because my computer needs to be recharged. Okay, I'll make another video later or maybe tomorrow. Take care.